Philadelphia Eagles are a road favorite against the Dallas Cowboys in an NFC East Division rivalry game on Sunday Night Football in Week 11 NFL action. The Eagles let the bye week stop their momentum last season after a 3-0 start, so we'll see if that happens again this season after their 8-1 start. The Sportsbooks open with the Eagles at -3, and the number has creeped up in the early week betting action. The Philadelphia Eagles will hit the field with the best record in the NFL at 8-1. They have also been one of the best bets of the season with a 7-2 against the spread record. The Eagles have won and covered 6 straight and have 7 straight wins overall after a 1-1 start to the season. Amazingly, unless this line flips, the Eagles will be a road favorite for the first time since week 1. The Eagles are plus 0.6 yards per play, which is outstanding, and plus 104 in point differential. Philadelphia is only plus 6 in turnover margin, and yet this looks like a team that cannot be beaten. The Eagles have 5.7 yards per play, and Carson Wentz is getting more and more comfortable with each passing Sunday. Wentz has a 60.5% completion rate with a 23-5 touchdown interception ratio. He has taken 23 sacks, and he could do a little bit more to evade the rush, but he goes through his progressions well and makes the right throws. This is not an Eagles team that has been blessed with perfect health either. Jason Peters and Darren Sproles are out for the year. Lane Johnson missed time with a concussion. Ronald Darby and Zach Ertz have been hurt. Through it all, guys keep putting up the numbers. Newly acquired Jay Ajayi had 8 carries for 77 yards in his debut. LeGarrette Blount has 4.6 yards per pop. Alshon Jeffrey has 5 touchdown grabs. Nelson Aguilar has 5 as well. Doug Peterson and Frank Reich have this offense humming, and Wentz is really set up for success with a solid line and good skill players. The Eagles' defense is getting a ton of pressure with the front 4, and that has allowed a mediocre secondary to play over its head. The Eagles have allowed a 61.4% completion rate, but only 5.2 adjusted net yards per pass attempt. Philadelphia also ranks tied for 4th in stuffing the run with just 3.6 yards per carry allowed. Jim Schwartz's defense doesn't have to do anything exotic or creative, and that has helped to limit the big plays. The Eagles have only allowed 5.1 yards per play this season, which ranks tied for 11th in the league. What we're seeing in the NFL this season is that teams that do not beat themselves, like the Eagles, can have a ton of success. The Dallas Cowboys had a 3-game winning streak snapped, both straight up and against the spread, in their 27-7 loss to the Falcons this past weekend. Dallas has also played 2 straight unders after a run of 4 consecutive overs. The Cowboys are 5-4 straight up and against the spread on the year. Health is the biggest issue facing the Cowboys this week. It was very clear that the loss of Tyron Smith played a huge role in the loss to the Falcons. The Cowboys only rushed for 107 yards and only managed 233 yards total against the Falcons in Week 10. With Smith highly questionable this week and Ezekiel Elliott serving a 6-game suspension, the Cowboys' offense is in a tough spot. Dallas ranks 11th in adjusted net yards per pass attempt, but this is a team that is much better when Dak Prescott simply has to go out and keep drives alive and complete some easy play action or rollout throws. If he has to go out and win the game, he can, but not as efficiently as their running game can. Prescott, Alfred Morris, and Rod Smith have all had a lot of yards per carry, but Ezekiel Elliott is the bruising feature back with 191 attempts and 4.1 yards per carry. With Dez Bryant hobbled by a different injury each week and the aging curve attached to Jason Witten, this Cowboys offense suddenly have some big problems. No problem is bigger for the Cowboys, however, than the loss of Sean Lee. The Dallas defense has allowed 5.2 yards per play this season, but they allowed 6.1 yards per play to the Rams and 5.9 yards per play to the Packers without Lee. Last week, Lee left in the first quarter of the loss to the Falcons. Atlanta only had 5.2 yards per play, but had 2 touchdown drives to open the second half, with over 7 yards per play and another field goal drive to put the game away. The Cowboys' defense is nowhere near the same without Sean Lee. He is doubtful with a hamstring injury this week. The Cowboys have allowed a 66.6% completion rate, but have kept explosive plays to a minimum. Without Lee, that task becomes exponentially harder. The Philadelphia Eagles are the play this week as long as Sean Lee cannot play, and Philadelphia is on extra rest. The Cowboys have to be careful because they will play on a short week on Thanksgiving the following week. All situations point to the Eagles, as well as the X's and O's with an Eagles defensive front that should stack up extremely well against Dallas's offensive line. Our pick and prediction is for the Philadelphia Eagles at -4.5. For our pick and prediction on this game and every other game this week, and a wealth of free stats and information, check out bangthebook.com.